Oil prices have moved higher, but bears may take over the market in the course of the day. The chances are high that the OPEC Plus will ease the terms of the deal. The ruble is rising today. However, the US dollar may limit its growth and head for the level of 76. On Wednesday, the Joint Monitoring Committee did not give any recommendations on production levels in April. Some members of the alliance insist on keeping the current output cuts as fuel demand remains highly unstable. Investors are currently focused on the OPEC Plus meeting, so they did not react much to a significant rise in oil inventories in the United States. Yet, this data is worth paying attention to. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, crude inventories rose by more than 21 million barrels last week. This can be explained by the abnormally cold weather in Texas. Traders have downplayed the bearish report probably because they expect the situation to stabilize in the coming weeks. Yesterday, the energy market closed in positive territory and continued this bullish trend on Thursday. In the early session, Brent gained 0.7% as oil bulls managed to send the quote above $64 a barrel. WTI crude is showing similar dynamics, trading above $61 a barrel. Despite a rise in the morning trade, crude prices remain under pressure. It's still not clear whether Saudi Arabia will keep its voluntary cuts of 1 million barrels. Other major producers, including Russia, may want to increase production volumes amid higher oil prices. Therefore, the possibility of a negative outcome increases for the oil market. Analysts predict the easing of output cuts that will bring up to 1.5 million barrels per day back into the market. Against this background, Brent may fall to the level of $60 a barrel. Until the final decision is announced, oil is expected to trade in the channel of $65 and $65.5 a barrel. In case the OPEC Plus decides to leave the agreement unchanged, oil prices may jump to $66 a barrel in the short term. The global market sentiment is getting worse by the end of the week. Today's background is moderately negative. Another rise in US Treasury yields and strengthening of the US dollar force investors to flee from risk assets. If risk aversion becomes stronger, the ruble will face more bearish pressure. At the same time, the current conditions are rather favorable for the ruble's growth. Among positive factors are the growing interest in emerging market currencies, higher oil prices, and stable macroeconomic indicators. On Thursday, the ruble opened the session with a slight increase against the greenback. The dollar-ruble pair is expected to trade in the range between 73.60 and 74.40. The mark of 74 rubles 70 kopecks serves as a strong resistance level. The ruble bulls became more active after the sanctions against Russia had been announced. They turned out to be less harsh than markets expected. It seems that market participants have a feeling of relief now. Besides, this news was followed by a successful auction on federal loan bonds. Traders should keep in mind the overall strengthening of the US dollar against such safe haven assets as the Japanese yen. This is definitely a downside risk for the ruble. The US currency may return to the level of 75 rubles and above, but probably not today. That's all for now. We wish you profitable deals. See you in our channel with a new video in a couple of hours.